Hello, Jackson Fox. How are you doing today?
Call me a bad second, but I'm doing good. How are you doing, Dean?
I'm good. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you allowing me to interview you. I have some questions. I chose to interview you because I have, as a friend of mine from college, I've noticed you're a very successful businessman and you struggled with ADHD throughout your, college career. Um, it doesn't go away. So obviously you still have it. And so I kind of wanted to ask some questions about how you balance that with your work life and your life in the past and everything, if you'd be open to that.
Yeah,
All right, cool. Well, my first question is, when were you diagnosed with ADHD?
I was diagnosed in sixth grade.
Sixth grade?
Yes.
Okay, wow. And so going on top of that, how did it affect you as a child when you were younger in middle school, I assume, maybe high school as well?
Um, it affected me by I lived my life with like a little like glaze over my thoughts. Like just all my thoughts were like a cloudy um little like mess. And it was just hard to like think straight, hard to kind of focus in on a subject. And then hard part was if I even was going to try to focus on something for like long extended periods of time. And then just having good work as well. It's hard to have like consistently good work with ADHD, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Um, and you probably covered a lot of this saying that already, but how how does it affect you now as an adult? Like maybe any different way? How has it changed? How it's affected you since you were a child? How does it affect you as an adult? Are there any differences?
Yeah. I mean, it's still kind of the same, like cloudiness, like in my head, trying to think. But another thing is, I feel like I just get tired easily. Like I can, like during a day, like just my brain, like it doesn't. It's hard to say. Like it just won't. It won't like really push itself as hard as like I guess a normal person's brain does. I have no scientific backings on this statement, so it may not even be true, but
Right.
just like lack of energy, lack of being able to spend a lot of energy on certain items, and just it's hard to like in a conversation like with people I have, it's hard to really just stay focused with them, stay engaged, and really kind of have a deep conversation with people and really try to um I guess I don't know what word I'm looking for, but just kind of like have a deep conversation and try to think critically while talking to someone.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm gonna go.
Fighting.
All right, I'm coming back. I just had to close my door. They were making some noise in the living room. All right, I'm back.
No worries.
All right, sorry about that pause there. I had a little. Sorry about that. How has it affected your family or has it affected your family or community in any way? I only asked that because I was doing research on articles and there was one about how ADHD can affect an individual as well as their family and their community. Would you say it's really had any impact in that way or not so much for you?
Yeah, so like I said in my previous answer, it's hard for me to have engaging conversations because I mean, if I'm talking one on one with someone, I'll like say something or I'll ask them a question to get them talking, and it's really hard for me to then focus on what they're saying and try to like really engage with them, engage with their life. And I mean, over 22 years of life, I mean, all those conversations I've had with my family kind of adds up to where I'm not, I mean, I'm close with my like brother, sister, mom, but I feel like there are a lot of times where I'm talking to them and like we're having a conversation, catching up about their day, and like it's just hard for me to engage and have a really deep conversation about like what's going on with them, like how was their week, what they do. I just kind of ask like shallow questions like, oh, what'd you do yesterday? Oh, you went to the gym? Oh, you went to dinner? That's cool. What'd you all talk about? Oh, that's nice. And like that's kind of really it. Because then again, it's hard for me to really focus and try to think critically and try to really get deep into a conversation with someone when my attention span is just so short.
No, that makes sense. I almost feel that way sometimes where even I'll ask somebody their name and it's not like I don't care. I'm very interested. I've been talking to them about like ask their name. And then within the amount of time it takes them to answer me, I forget to listen to their answer, and
Mm-hmm.
it makes you feel bad. It makes you feel shallow, but I mean, it obviously, like, I know you're a great guy. You're not a shallow person that wouldn't want to listen, but I can understand how just that difficulty to stay engaged can be a thing. Um, how has it affected you in school or in work? I'm sure it overlaps with a lot of answers you've already given, but like specifically to those, is it any different? Has it made it more difficult to, focus and study in school, to get tasks done at work?
Yeah. It's hard to, the hard part is just getting into the groove of I need to study for this test I have coming up. I need to work on this assignment for work. It's hard to like sit down and start like, getting to work, starting to study, starting to do whatever I need to do for the day. But once I'm rolling, it's easy, but it's really hard at the beginning to stay focused, not get distracted, not just get tired and not want to do the work or study. Um, that's been hard. And it's hard at like for school because you're on such random hours. Like you'll wake up and go to school, and then you could be studying it like till like 10 p.m. Like it's hard, like in the later hours, like past 5, for me to really start studying and try to get any schoolwork done.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. How have you overcome all of this? Or what
So
steps have you taken? Yeah.
that's something I'm still really working on. I
Mhm.
definitely would not say I've overcome it at all. I would like to give a cool shout out to my sponsor, Vyvanse. It's really helped me
Yeah.
get through. But last summer, my internship, I didn't take any Vyvanse at all except for like the last week. And I mean, I saw me being able to get past the need to take a drug, but also there were moments where my ADHD really showed in the office environment, and it wasn't a good look.
Mhm.
So I'm working on that to this day. And I'll go a few days and not take the drug. Um, but that requires me to then drink a lot of coffee, which I guess is more socially accepted. Um, but then also just, I mean, the bottom line is if I'm not going to take the drug, I just really have to, it's hard to say, but just use a lot of brain power. I'm more used just being able to use a lot of physical power and like go run or go work out, but it's the complete opposite. Just having to use a whole lot of brain power just can stay consistently focused for 8 hours in a day. So that's something I'm still working to overcome. I mean, it's going to be a while, but um, and I mean, I accept that it's going to take a long time, but I'm here for the ride, and I'm hoping to one day be able to overcome it and not be dependent on a drug to help me out every single day.
Yeah, well, that's a great attitude to have towards it. I read another article that had something interesting, and I know, knowing you, that you go to the gym and all that stuff, and there was an article written about, the effect that physical activity can have in helping people deal with ADHD. Has it helped you in any way, like help focus or just anything in any way? Does physical activity help you deal with it in your daily life?
Yeah, so I started working out, I guess, seriously the second half of my freshman year. No, sorry, I lied. After my sophomore year. And after that, I really saw a lot of benefits in my performance in school, my just performance in life, my thinking in general. It helped my brain just become more clear, and I was able, since I've started working out, just think more clearly, have less of a fogginess in my brain. But also, before I started working out, a side effect of taking Vyvanse is you have a limited appetite.
Right.
So I was, not eating a lot. I was pretty skinny, and this is going back to when I was put on these ADHD drugs, so like 8th grade. Um, so going back, going back then, I mean, I've always been skinny, not eating a lot, and the effects of not eating a lot is, well, I mean, there's a lot of bad effects. So the fact that I was able to start working out, and that really engages your metabolism. So I was able to eat a lot more. I'm at a healthy weight now. So just all of that, I feel more healthy. I feel more lively, I guess, just from working out. So I feel like that's helped out a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Cool. Well, there was one other article I read. I, you know, staged a lot of these questions based off articles I'd read and how they pertain to people with ADHD and
Mhm.
stuff. And this was kind of personal, so you can refrain from answering if you want. But did you feel that um, having ADHD in college contributed to alcohol misuse in college? Because there is some study that actually shows that there could be a correlation between those two, possibly. Do you think that
Mhm.
it was applicable to you in any way?
I would not say it was applicable
Mhm.
to me, but I think that's just, there's other factors involved. I just personally have just a light stomach, so I get sick very easily. So therefore, I'm really not attracted to alcohol. But I'm not this is no means disproving that article that ADHD could draw someone to alcoholism. And I'm sure, I mean, there's an art, like, I'm sure they explain that it makes sense, but for me personally, but for other reasons, it does not attribute to alcoholism.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. Well, is there anything else you would like to add or that you think could be of use in terms of this?
Um, no, not really.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you letting me interview you and being open about this stuff. I know it can possibly be kind of hard to talk about, but seeing you battle it and going to the gym and all this stuff and finding other ways to kind of help yourself focus and you know overcome this barrier has been really cool. When I was with you in college, and now seeing you in a working environment doing very well and being very successful, just great to see, and it's really influenced me and inspired me. So I appreciate you doing this interview. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Appreciate the kind words.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Thank you too.